Hello everyone, welcome to the Knitting Turnpike. Welcome to the Knitting Turnpike. My name is Gina Pike. I'm very happy that you're here today. Today I'm so excited to share with you guys the first clue of the Stephen West's Mystery Knit Along for 2021. This year he is calling it Shawlography, and it has started off with a bang. The first clue was released last Friday, the 8th of October. I think that's dates, right? He's going to be releasing one clue every week for 4 weeks. So the next clue will release on Friday the 15th. And this first clue, so much fun, so interesting. So I have a little bit to share with you. Grab something to drink. Let's sit down and let's talk about this clue. Now, I like to show you guys all the techniques and stuff, and I'm not going to do that because Mr. West is doing his own technique videos, and I will put a link to his video showing clue 1 up here or here, wherever it is. And I think I can't, do anything better than him. He's the best. So I will just link his video. What I want to talk about today is my process of knitting clue 1, and I hope you'll enjoy it. I did share recently in a previous video about how I picked my colors, and I did end up going with a kit, but I did also evaluate if I should add another color. He does talk about how you can add more, you can have more. This shawl calls for 5 colors, so 5 different skeins of fingering weight yarn, at least I think 390 yards each. I ended up getting a yarn that's 400 yards each, 5 skeins. I'll put a picture here of my yarn. He talks about how you can add additional colors, so I am considering, I kept going back and forth between, should I use that chartreuse color, that green, bright pop of green, or should I use this beautiful red-orange color? On my color wheel, one is across, the other is right beside it. They both can go very well, and people had differing opinions on in the comments last time. I love hearing your opinions, and if you don't agree with me, I still love hearing it. I love knowing what you guys are thinking, so please don't hesitate to put comments down below when you don't agree with me or you think something else might look better. Your idea might inspire me to do something different, and I hope I can do the same for you. But what I'm trying to say is that there will be opportunities to add different colors. You don't have to really stick to the 5 colors. So if you have other colors that you think go really well, if you are knitting this and you have colors or you're putting it together, you can add like 6, 7 colors, and I think it just make a beautiful spectrum of colors. I have already been seeing some projects posting in Ravelry groups, on Facebook groups for this West Knits Mystery Knit Along, and they are beautiful. I saw one last night where this gentleman who's knitting it has one skein of yarn that's a rainbow colored gradient, and then he added all these other colors of the rainbow with it. It is stunning, stunning. I was so just overwhelmed by the beauty of it. I can't share the picture, it's not mine, but go check out the Ravelry group. I'm sure you'll find it. It's beautiful. And so many other shawls too. Each one I see is gorgeous. All right, so, and that's what I love about his knits, is that it's like a design that works well with so many different color palettes. It's not like you have to just knit that same color palette to get the same effect. You get a different effect. It's still all really beautiful. So let's get started. The clue 1, we basically are doing a lot of color work. I will show you my shawl here in a little bit. If you don't want to see my shawl, do not watch my video because this is a spoiler. So if you don't want to see it and you're knitting it, please just don't watch. I don't want to spoil the process for you. The techniques used in the shawl are pretty simple. Again, watch this video, he'll show you, but it's just simple knit 2 together, knit front and back stitch. I have a video for that I'll put here. Purl 2 together, an S2KP, which is just a slip 2 stitches together as if to knit, knit the next stitch and pass the 2 slip stitches over. There is a slip slip knit stitch. There is sliding markers, knitting through the back loop, and there's some where when you're doing slips, just slipping stitches where you don't knit them and you just slip them to from your left needle to your right needle, where you have to move the yarn in front or in back to achieve the desired effect that he's going for. And that's all there really is to that. Those are all the stitches I'm seeing. Oh, and a yarn over. That's all I'm seeing right here in my little legend. So there's nothing here that's complicated. The complicated part comes in how you put it together. I ordered my colors kind of like he suggested. My colors, he said for color A you should use a color pop. So I'm using my chartreuse green as my color pop. This is my color A. For my color B, he said you should pick a color that frames all the other colors. So I looked at that and I thought I like darker colors. So I picked my darkest blue-green, which is the tealiest, to be my color B. The next few colors, he said it didn't really matter the order, but I went from medium to light to darker. So my color C is this beautiful blue-green here. My color D is a little bit darker. That's my color D. And then my color E ended up being the lightest color I have for my pick. This one on the very far right. This one right here where my fingers are wiggling. So those are my C, D, and E. And it started with, but he said that it's really no big deal because you can rearrange these, and each color is going to have its own section or clue to shine. I think for this clue, color B shone very well. So my darkest color was framing all the other colors, and this starts out with this section here. I'm about to show you, and I'm going to be showing you the whole thing, but this is my clue 1. This is what this looks like. This is where you start. You start right here with this center section. You do this color A, you do this little I-cord cast on. That's what we did. He showed you how to do that. You see the I-cord there, and you pick up stitches and then create this. And then you have these live stitches that you come back and pick up later as you're knitting all these beautiful wedges of color. And look at these. There's 9 beautiful wedges of color. And you rotate your colors throughout to show this. See all those? Isn't that beautiful? All right, so I want to point out something. So I started knitting this Saturday afternoon, and because I was working on another project, another mystery knit along that I was working on. I had both clues released Friday. So I finished that. I started working on this Saturday afternoon, and I was so excited I ended up couldn't sleep, so I worked late into the night. I was working on these wedges and finished them. I finished them like about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. I stayed up really late. I couldn't just sleep. I was excited. So I was just busting along. And then on Sunday afternoon, after church, I went to pick up the stitches and start this next section here. And if you can see how this goes, when you do this, it ends up, there's an I-cord here, and to get this next part going, you have to pick up stitches. You have 2 stitches in your dark main color B, and then you have 1 stitch for your color, whatever that color is for that row. And so you have 3 stitches that you're picking up as you go along. And I am going along and going along, and all of a sudden, I don't know if you can see right here, I don't have 2 color B's in between my 2 colors. I have a color, that color, and I have that color, and I'm like, where are my 2 color B's? And I get to looking at this, and as you can see, I made a big old mistake. I forgot to put a row of color B in between this chartreuse color and this next medium blue. Can you see? I'm missing that row right there. And that made me not have 2 stitches right there of the color B to pick up on my stitches going around. I'd already kind of see the spoiler, and I thought the symmetry was going to be important. So I want to talk about what did I do. I was really mad at myself for about a day. I was like, why didn't I just slow down? Why didn't I, I don't know. I was excited, knitting, having fun, and I was probably too tired to be knitting all of this. But so I was like, do I rip it and fix it? Because at this point, I'm all the way here. And I will say this, to do these sections, one thing that he shows you how to do are German short rows. German short, so you get these, shorter rows in here. You start out long and then you get shorter and shorter because you're turning your work and going back at a certain point. You're not knitting the entire row, and there's a certain way to do it. He shows you how to do it. It is magic. It is so easy. So don't fret about that. I just want to mention German short rows. And so we have I-cord. For I-cord cast on, you need to know how to do I-cord, which he shows you. Now we have German short rows. But the thing is, I was all the way picking up stitches. And to do these, you do cut the colors every time you do them. As you can see what the back looks like, you cut them, and then you ended up you weave the colors in as you go along. So you weave them in. And so at that point, I was like, do I rip it back and fix this color? Or do I just continue on? Because I knew I still had all this knitting to do up here. And I was like, well, right now it's not that obvious. I couldn't even see it, right? I didn't see it until I started picking up stitches. It's a little obvious. It's right there. But because everything's, not blocked and still squishing in, it's a little harder to see. But when I block it, I'll be sure to see it. And when I went to pick up stitches, I was sure to see it. So I was like, should I rip it? Should I keep it? What am I going to do? Because I knew if I ripped it, I'd have all these short pieces of yarn that I've already cut and woven in to try to fix back into place. So I was like, I felt like it wasn't like just fixing a drop stitch or a section of lace where the yarn's still attached, because the yarn has been cut, different colors. I felt like this is going to be probably a process of a day to fix this. Maybe not, but I felt like it would be a lot of work to fix it, and I was being a little bit lazy. I wanted to get on to the next section, so I decided to keep it. So I am featuring this as a design element on my shawl. And I want to talk about, the reason why I'm talking about it so much, my husband was like, don't talk about it, Gina, because I was really depressed because I was so excited to share this with you guys. And I was like, I made a big old mistake right here on Clue 1. I don't feel like I should even share this now. However, as I've been thinking about it over the last couple, this happened on Saturday. Today is a Tuesday morning. I was thinking about, should I share it? Should I not? Should I just stop? Explain what happened? But I share with you guys the good, the bad, the ugly. And I think what is important here is I want to turn a negative into a positive. I want to tell you guys how I moved past this and how I fixed it. Because I think a lot of times as knitters or crocheters, we make mistakes. And sometimes we can get so frustrated, we don't know how to fix it. It might be too much work to completely undo it. Is there a way to fix it and move on and not end up throwing this on the whip pile because we're frustrated with it? So what I did, I was picking up my stitches, and again, as you can see, hold on 1 second, let me get to the spot where I was. All right, so here I am. I need 2 stitches to pick up for the blue, and then that last blue stitch I can pick up. You're picking up 2 legs under those I-cord stitches. So I was like, I need 2 stitches, and I wanted to keep it symmetrical because I had already seen the rest of this, and I thought this looks like it's really going to have to line up appropriately. Like if it doesn't line up, like he's been really good about saying all along that if you make a mistake, if you don't have a lot of stitches, sorry, I'm getting close because I was showing this. If you make a lot of mistakes, or if you don't have the right number of stitches, just don't stress. Add some here and there. Do a knit front and back. Add some at the end. It doesn't matter. However, I thought going forward, since this is supposed to all line up, and I'll explain this more when I get to the section here in a minute, that it would be important to put those extra stitches in that I was missing to keep the rhythm right. So what did I do? What did I do to fix that mistake? Because I only had one little spot for a stitch, and I needed 2 additional stitches. So let me show you the back of this, because you can see where it's going along and how I'm picking up the stitches and all it looks even. Well, right here is where I made my mistake. So what did I do? I ended up coming on this back side of the green, and I ended up picking up, you can see them right in here, 2 additional stitches off the screen. Now on this pickup, you pick up both legs on that I-cord stitch. I did not. I'd used one leg and then another leg, and I found it right in there to pick up. I just picked up 2 additional stitches so that I could have 2 stitches for that one section. And I was worried about it being a little crammed, but it worked its way out, and I think it looks pretty good. Like, sorry, I keep getting turned around every time I turn it around. All right, so right here is where I did it, and I don't think after it looks crammed up at all or bad. So I think that worked. I just want to kind of mention this. If you guys make a mistake like that, find a way to fix those extra little stitches in there. Don't rip it out. Embrace it. And if I can turn my negative into a positive by sharing that with you, I hope that helps, you know. And I think I'm happy. I'm okay with it. I'm not happy. I don't like that I made a mistake, but I was able to fix it, able to move on. I didn't spend a lot of time fixing this at all. I didn't fix it. I just embraced it, and I was able to fix it by doing a little modification right here on the back and picking up 2 extra stitches to keep everything symmetrical. So now the next part was where we started bringing in more of the other colors. Again, this is my color A. This light color that's got the V's all across the place is my color C. That's what you use to pick up the stitches. And then this is my color D. And then the light one's my color E. My color E and my color C are pretty close in colors, but they are still different. You can still see the V across there. Now this is a really simple section. All this is slip stitches. This V stitch is a stitch that you slip way down here and you just take it across. Now it starts curling, so you don't want to knit that too tightly. But that's all that is, and it does line up. You end up doing a lot, like a knit yarn. Oh, that's right. There's a knit yarn over knit stitch. I have a video tutorial for that. I'll put it up above. And that's another stitch that he has introduced for this Shawlography, Clue 1. But they line up, as you can see, as long as you keep your stitches in place, and the V's are coming at certain spots. And you can see how all the colors are starting to play. Now we're to the last section. We do that through, the 3 colors. So we got color B in here. We did color A, C, D, and E. All right, so now we bring in color B again. I want you to take a look at this last section. Can you see these? These are little I-cord loops that we are ending with. This is a loop. You can pull this out. I can put this on my finger like a ring. I can wear my shawl on my finger like a ring. This is a ring. Can you see that? Little loops of I-cords all along the edge. There's 45 of these little I-cord loops. Oh, I twisted this on my needle the other day. I just got to twist that back. I was changing my stitches around. But these are just little loops. And he tells you how to knit them. So when you knit these, you have to pick up 3 stitches, and you're sliding them back and forth to make the I-cord. You slide them back and forth. You knit them, slide them back to your left-hand needle, knit them, slide them back to your left-hand needle to create the I-cord. And you do that like 9 times to create this little I-cord that you eventually knit and then move on to the next stitch. And there's 1 stitch in between these. See, these are lining up directly over the V in the knit yarn over knit that you did up above. So that's important. I personally kind of started getting a little bit of a pet peeve. I knitted the first third of these just like he said to do, with this: knit the stitch, pass it back to the left hand needle, knit, pass the left. And I have a 4-ply yarn. I have really pointy needles, and in the hurry of knitting it, or lack of inexperience, sometimes I will split a ply with my needle being sharp. And that is one of my biggest pet peeves, is when I split a little bit of my yarn, and then I might just have a little wisp of yarn that isn't on my needle, and it's like, oh, it bothers me. I can't stand it. So I was like, I kept doing it, and I was just like, that was for the first third. And I was like, this is going to take me all the rest of the day to do the rest 2/3 of these. There's 45 of these. So I was like, well, when I knitted Slipstravaganza last year, it started with an I-cord. I did a video back then of how to make an I-cord using DPNs, which are double pointed needles. They look like this. I don't have the other one. I just this double pointed needles, just a little stick that you can use, little point, and that's what I used to finish the rest of these I-cords. Now I have a video that shows you how I do it on the I-cord. I also have a video to show you how I did this, and I'm going to talk you through it as I go through this. So it's important to what I ended up doing was I grabbed my DPNs, and as I would get to this, I would knit these 3 stitches, and then I would just slide it on my DPN. You don't have to transfer it back and forth. Once you knit it, you just slide it to the other end, knit it, slide it to the other end, and knit it, slide it to the other end and knit it. You do that 9 times. And as you slide it, you're not having to transfer it because you've got the opened end on both ends. It just creates the I-cord. And you, like I said, you do it as many times as you need to do. On that last time that you need to knit, you do it like 9 times, and then on the last time you knit it knit it and then move on to the next stitch, and then you start over again. So on that last time, the 10th time, I think, I had just knitted it with my right hand needle to finish up the I-cord, and then knit the next stitch and move on. And then I would grab my DPNs and knit the next 3 stitches and do that 9 times again and move on. So the thing I want to point out about doing this, it went so much faster. Oh my goodness. I did the first third, took me probably about 3-4 hours to do those. The last 2/3 I did in 2 hours. I did 2/3, twice as many in half the time by doing that method. It just worked for me. So I want to point out 2 things. If you want to do this, there are 2 things you probably should be aware of that I did. I think that made it successful. Now, holding stitches, you still have live stitches on both sides of your needles. So what I would do is I would pull my stitches down on my needles a little bit when I was working the I-cord, so that my stitches would not be right there on the edge, having an opportunity to slip off right away if I did do a quick movement with that DPNs. So you probably want to move your stitches back just a little bit on those needles while you're doing those 9 times of knitting your I-cord. The other thing I think I did that was important to my success of doing it this way is I had something under my knitting to hold it. I wasn't just holding my knitting up and it flowing freely again so that my stitches could fall off. I have either a couch cushion, my ottoman, my lap, a pillow. I kind of lean forward anyway. If you guys know me and I know my knitting, but if you are new, I do have back issues. I lean forward, so I had my knitting supported with something underneath it, whether it be like a pillow, something was holding it so it wasn't free flying, and then my stitches could go flying. I think that's very important because you could easily lose stitches and then you'd be trying to fix this part here, which shouldn't be too hard, but you know, then it would be, I would get frustrated, I think, if I was trying to fix all those. But anyway, you end up with all these beautiful I-cords, and they are very interesting. Look at all the texture this gives. I wish I hadn't twisted that one, but I had a stitch that was messed up, so I twisted. Anyway, you can see all these beautiful textured I-cords knitted in the color B, which matches the ribbing on these down below here. It just gives, I don't know what he's going to do with them. He says trust him, that, you know, it's going to look really cool. Some people are like thinking they'll get it caught on things. I think, I don't know, if I'm guessing, I think once it blocks out, I think it'll be a lot flatter, and it's just going to be more of a textured type thing. But they are loopy. Like I said, I showed you how it fits on my fingers. And he said again, don't stress if you do 9, 10, 8, you know, instead of counting the 9 times, don't worry about it. Just keep on moving along, and it's just more about the process and the texture. They don't have to all be perfect. This is a handmade item. Make it unique. So Anyway, that's what that looks like, and that was the end of clue 1. And this is again what it looks like. You can see all my colors playing in very well. Very beautiful. This yarn is a yarn kit from Amanda Hope Yarn. I will put a link to her website down below. I think she still has some of these, actually, this color actually, the teals and the chartreuse pop. Her yarn this is an Aussie yarn, Aussie from Australia, fingering weight yarn, merino. Really, it has a little bit of nylon in there. It's very squishy and stretchy and lovely to knit with. And then you see the colors, really beautiful colors. And that's what it all looks like. And I'm very happy that I'm doing this year. It looks a little odd right now, but I'm sure he has a vision for it and will be taking us to some more interesting places. I did watch his Instagram live, Cast On Party. He did mention that there is going to be brioche as well in this year's shawl. I've never done brioche before. A little bit nervous about it because it looks a little bit complicated, but again, this is about learning too, doing things we've never done. Last year we knitted those triangles and picked up stitches. I've never done that before. This year we're doing German short rows. We're doing a lot of I-cords and we're different techniques. So, you know, it's about learning as well and having fun and doing things we've never done before. He did say if people do not like the brioche, he will have a non-brioche option. So think about that. If you don't want to do that, you can do this other option and have an even different, unique shawl because, you know, it's what you want it to be and make this what you want it to be. So thank you so much for letting me share this first clue for Stephen West's Shawlography for 2021, the mystery knit along that we've been waiting for all year with you today. I appreciate that. I have had so much fun knitting this. I've been so excited. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have any questions for me or comments below, please don't hesitate to put them down below. I love reading your comments. If you are new, this is your first video to watch of mine. I love to talk about knitting. I love to talk about crochet a little bit. I do have some crochet projects going on that I share here and there in my What Are You Knitting crocheting series. And I also like to talk about yarn and yarn hauls and projects that we're working on or popular things going on in the knitting world. Now with the Shawlography, there are about 6,000 people, I think, knitting this project together right now. So that's a big community. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to see other people's projects. And again, everyone I've ever seen, amazing. Just beautiful. It works for so many colors. But anyway, let me get back to thanking you for being here, for watching my videos. I appreciate all of you and each of you, and you mean the world to me. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you again for spending time with me, and I will see you all very, very soon. Take care.